are back. Welcome back to the Nick Hall Comedy Podcast. I am your host, Nick Hall, joined as always by
Josh Griffey.
Big week, as usual. Bigger than last, probably not bigger than the one before. Still big, still big.
On a scale, it's large.
If you are listening on Apple Podcast, make sure you rate and review. That helps us out a bunch, and we surely do appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, go down there and click that subscribe button. Turn your notifications on. We get content all the time. At Coach Kent Murphy on all of your social media platforms. And, of course, for the greatest gear in the world,
the Trash Stros, baby.
CoachKentMurphy.com. Holidays are coming up. You're going to want that shit. Your kids are going to want that shit. The neighborhood kids are going to want it. It's the only place to get it.
Guys, I have one more plea for you. As some of you know, I do another podcast called The Film Alchemist, where we talk about movies. Every December, we do this thing where we stuff your stockings. So if you guys would be so kind, you can find us on Twitter at Film Alchemist 1. You can also find us on YouTube, Nerd Alchemist. That's plural with an S at the end. All I need from you guys, we're on Facebook, every social media pretty much. You guys go over there, follow the show, subscribe, and tell me any movie that you want covered. No rules, no regulation. Not a porno, guys. Not a porno.
I'll do pornos.
If people still have like porno tapes like we used to back in college. But yeah, you guys tell us what you want me to watch, and we'll talk about it on the show ideally. We're going to do as many as we can. So I'm looking for some help at the Film Alchemist. Thank you, guys.
Backdoor Sluts 9. Let's get on it.
There was a movie I've always wanted to cover. It was called Flesh Gordon.
Ooh.
Because I was at a third grade birthday party for my friend, Daniel Mobley, actually was his name. We were good friends. We came over to his house. It was a pool party, right? We were having shenanigans, wrestling, doing power bombs in the pool. It ended when you got someone to like, hey, can you get all of our towels? And you pushed him in with all the like, now they're like 80-pound towels.
Yeah.
And we came in and his grandma was this nice old lady. She's like, I got you guys a tape. And she thought it was Flash Gordon. Come to find out it was Flesh Gordon. So right away we're starting this movie. And I was like, it seems kind of like sci-fi fare. And then they escape on a spaceship that's a giant titty. And his assistant has these giant fake tits. And he like pokes it with his like scientist pointer and pops one of her boobs. And they end up on an island where they play basketball with like gigantic human-sized boners.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they have a Cyclops monster that gets caught in a ring. And like he tries to free himself and jerks off. And like Flesh Gordon is washing around. So that movie would be well worth a cover.
I think my favorite...
I was in third grade when I accidentally saw this porno.
I think my favorite porno title was the one in Big Lebowski. It was just called Log Jammin'. So that's a great porno title. Jackie Treehorn presents Log Jammin'. He shows up and he's like, I'm here to fix the cable. And she's like, you can imagine what happens next. And Jeff Bridges goes, he fixes the cable?
Yeah.
Fucking Log Jammin'. Hey, all right. We should do a porno show. We did the conspiracy pod. We'll do a porno pod.
Greatest. I will
see if we
say
can get
this.
Lisa Hand to come on or fucking Brandy Love. You know,
any of them. I miss the day of the cinematic porn. Now you'll get stuff where it's like, oh, Diva from Overwatch gets plowed by Genji. And you're like, well, I know they're not Genji. Yeah. They have like poor like airbrush spandex that gets ripped immediately. Yeah. I'm like, there's not a lot of narrative. Like, how did Diva get out of her mech? I miss the days of, because we used to go to
wonderful.
Like video stores, right?
Oh yeah.
And I remember when I was old enough to go into saloon doors.
Yeah, family video had the whole back room. Yeah,
that was like the security. It was like swinging saloon doors, and it's like now you're old enough to go see. And it'd be like
instead you just lay under the ground and look at them when you can't get in.
Well, I remember as a kid, I was like, oh, there must be cool shit back there, and you'd always wander in your mind. God damn it! But yeah, man, I miss cinematic porno.
I think the first one
I miss storyline.
I rented one from a family video once when I could like first go into the saloon doors, and I think it was called Titanic Tits. It was just like it looked like the box cover for Titanic, only it was large-breasted women.
Yeah.
That were going to do naughty things.
They weren't putting as much effort in back then in the parody titles as you'd like.
They didn't have Log Jammin', unfortunately. Or couldn't find the Italian Stallion later on. Anyway, I got my Michigan jacket on today. Certainly not for Jim Harbaugh's bitch ass.
I thought those things were on clearance. That's why.
No. No, the Michigan basketball team, biggest jump in the history, went from unranked to number 4. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it. I'm just proud. I'm proud of those guys. Juwan Howard's running. He running a tight
You were
ship.
telling me this, and that to me is base level insane.
Tied, I think Kansas did it in 89, I think the article I read at said. And that's the two biggest.
How does Michigan start the season not ranked? Michigan's been good for a while now.
Yeah, Bayline had that program churning for about a decade.
Yeah, I mean, you can only imagine it's the Jawan Howard factor.
Yeah, the new coach thing, but still, 3 of those starters played in the national championship. They were ranked top 10 most of the year last year.
It's one of those weird things with like these polls where it's like, why not just, default to Michigan will probably be good and then be wrong later.
At this point, yeah. Now
this makes the poll look pretty
10 years ago, that wasn't
foolish.
the case. Like they're like, if Michigan wins 12 games, we'll be,
about
15 years ago.
Flow,
yeah.
But that was crazy. So from unranked to 4, you beat the number 6, the number 8.
Yeah.
And then
Slaughtered
tonight
them.
you're playing number 1, right?
Number 1 at Louisville.
Yeah, I would say whoever Michigan is, that guy should get fired.
It's a
Whoever's
gauntlet.
doing the schedule.
Well, yeah. But at this point, yeah, I mean that's the resume. No matter what we do the rest of the year, like we're getting in the tournament.
It's the nightmare of the guy who schedules Alabama's football games is Michigan's basketball schedule. He's like, opponents.
Yeah, Alabama. Week 12. Let's see. South Missouri State Northwest.
We're gonna play
A&M.
Ivy Tech on 92nd Street. We're coming for you.
DeVry on week 3. We'll play them.
Oh man.
University of Phoenix online.
It was nice to see Nick Saban have his mini meltdown and cry about trickery. I love it.
After the game, he was just like, he goes, it was just seemed a little unfair.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay. To me, that's the equivalent, like we talked about it last week. LeBron wrote a letter to the NBA about not getting calls. Saban complaining about unfairness is just as laughable.
Right.
He got out-coached in the last...
Every community college in the South
You fell for a trick play and you got beat.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you guys played any good teams all year, you would be more prepared for this. We got to talk about the giant maize and gold, or blue and maize, whatever the fuck your colors are, elephant in the room. Is it time to fire Jim Harbaugh after never having beaten Ohio State? Even though you guys are good.
Not only, it's not that
Andy whooped the shit out of Notre Dame this year.
Yeah, but Notre Dame's not that good this year.
Sure.
We haven't shown up for a big game in the tenure of Jim Harbaugh. And it's not that he gets beat by Ohio State every year. He gets destroyed by Ohio State.
Yeah, dismantled.
I mean, just absolute, not in the game, just his ass beat. And there, he's got to go. You can't have, like, that's your one job at Michigan. You could go 8-5, but if your one win is Ohio State, they're still like, okay, next year is going to be better. We're not that mad at you for losing 5 other games because you whipped Ohio State's ass.
Now, I understand this because as an IU fan, right, when I grew up with Bob Knight, it was more important to me that we would just beat Purdue.
Yeah.
Like, as long as we beat Purdue,
you get them 2 times a year and you go whip them, you're like, okay, that's good.
We whip them, but then, he was notoriously bad in the Big Ten tournament, and like the end of his tenure is now good. You're like, if we whip Purdue, we're fine. I wonder about this on like a larger coaching theory, though. Because we were talking about this a little bit, and we're gonna save it for the show. Who are you gonna get that's better than Harbaugh?
Yeah, but
who the fuck are you gonna get?
My answer to that ridiculous, ludicrous argument, which I hate, is like, why would you fire that guy?
Call me a paper tiger over here?
Who's better? No, it's. If he can't do his job, then you have to bring somebody else in.
But what's his
to try to do his job?
His job is to get the best players and try to win.
But we're not winning anything.
You guys win a lot of games every year.
But we don't go to the Big Ten champ. We don't win Big Ten titles, even, let alone a national title.
Sure.
You know what I mean? We're not winning.
But you're we're
beating Rutgers and Maryland every year. And losing to
you guys are clearly entrenched in the top 4 of one of the best football conferences in the country.
Great. But we're a championship program.
Since when?
When
was your last
Well,
championship?
I know, that's the thing, because we haven't had a good fucking coach since Lloyd Carr.
Well, this is like the IU debate we have, too. Where
97 was the last time we won a championship.
We had to fire Tom Crean because he couldn't win the big one, even though we got to a number 1 seed and had all these lottery picks.
Yeah, but you never made it past the Sweet 16.
Okay, but now we have Archie Miller, and we're just going to suck.
Oh, I'm not... Yeah, but...
the Dwight Schrute of college coaches is
gone. You had to change it up.
What the fuck?
Dwight Schrute of college.
I mean, he's much more of a Kevin McCarthy, actually. He doesn't have half the personality of a Dwight.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. He's just like a suit who sits there and whispers and doesn't seem to know how to recruit or coach.
Well, that was the thing, because, the argument with Crean was he's really good at recruiting. He's bringing in all these good guys. Yeah. He just doesn't do really well.
We had 5 lottery picks.
Developing and coaching. But I'm saying that was like the consensus thought. And so like the idea was that Archie had so much success coaching at Dayton with little to no resources. Yeah. Like, okay, this guy can coach. We'll get a guy in here that'll bring recruits. Now we got a guy that coaches. Now he's not doing either.
What do you think about
now
that?
He can't get anybody
hate the
there.
Idea of, because to me it's the equivalent of this guy was good in a loser division.
Right.
So that means he'll be good with the big boys. And I'm like, no, because you can just look at Archie Miller. That guy's not a Division I top flight coach, right?
And his brother was like a good coach, but he only was because he cheated a whole bunch.
He cheated a whole bunch, yeah. I fucking wish Archie would cheat. Like, we already got Calvin Sampson. At least he cared. You know, but this
Calvin just made some phone calls, though. He wasn't
the difference between like an Archie Miller is like he doesn't look the part. He doesn't sound the part. You can imagine if you're a recruit and that guy walks into your living room and you're like, oh, wow, my least favorite uncle who has a braided belt and a tucked-in polo's here. And then John Calipari comes in. We're never going to beat John Calipari. That's what we need if you want to do it.
I agree.
And I would say at least Harbaugh fits the mold of what you want.
Kind of.
Right? Like he has that
We thought he did
big
when we hired him.
Personality.
Yeah. But it's starting to look
good players.
But it's starting to look like he's really not that good of a coach. Like he had success at Stanford and there was all that talk like, oh, he made Andrew Luck, and now it's starting to look like Andrew Luck fucking made him.
But then he went to the NFL and he turned the Niners around.
Yeah, I mean they had a good team. Yeah,
they were good.
Yeah.
That was a stacked team.
But that's a different. Like he might still be good at coaching pro.
Yeah,
it's a whole different game.
It's a whole different thing.
You know, so like, maybe he's just better suited for that than college. I don't know.
Sure.
But like,
I know there's this hard part though, right? Because I think it's hard for us fans because again, I would if you are a college football or basketball fan, right? Your chance of winning a title are really small every year, right? Even in college or college basketball, right?
Well, college basketball is even harder because you got to go through a 64-man tournament.
Game, you're done, right? Yep. And you see the best team lose almost every year, right?
St. Bonaventure has a good game against you, and you're fucking done in the first round. You know what I mean? St. Bonaventure goes 20 for 22 from 3, and you're done.
Yeah, sorry, I've been sick, guys. I'm trying.
We both have. It's been brutal around here.
We're just trying not to cough on each other. But,
I think my mom might have been right. You know, that cold weather makes you sick.
Yeah, I love that.
No scientific reasoning behind it.
3-week cough. It's like I'm not sick enough to be like just laying down, but I'm sick. The problem is with us fans, though, right? So you're a college basketball fan. Your chance of winning is so low,
right?
So I think we know we're not going to win, so we put our hopes smaller, right? Even the Big Ten title's hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Any
and then
conference
there are
is hard.
some teams that do that. Well, we won the regular season. That used to be enough. Don't do that. That's loser talk. That's Cleveland Browns level losers.
Loser
we'll get
talk.
To. That's loser culture. But you build yourself up because this one thing, the Ohio State game, right? The Purdue game, that matters more because it's a very small, focused goal.
Right.
But I think if that's how you don't look at it that way from like a program and a coach, right? I don't know. College is different. You have these cabals of donors and shit, and I'm sure it matters more to them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you guys fire Harbaugh, and it's like, I don't think that's going to help make you guys better right away.
Well, here's the thing, though. We can go and lose these games with anybody at coach. I mean, you can. You can
that's
go.
A fair point.
You can go and lose. So
we could coach Michigan.
So
dude.
at this point, you need to be in a spot. Like we got to we got to take a chance on somebody else.
Yeah.
Because we're not winning with him.
Yeah.
And we can do the exact same thing with somebody else at coach.
Yeah.
I guess that's why my argument against that. It's like fucking Vinatieri. Like they won't listen. By the way, I got a 15 missed kicks.
Yeah.
This season. At this point, I don't give a fuck about his legacy. I don't care if he's remembered as a good kicker because he's just being fucking selfish.
Yeah.
Sticking around and losing games for this fucking team. And our front office is fucking ignorant for keeping him around.
Yeah.
We've talked about it enough. But at this point, he's just being a selfish 46-year-old man that doesn't have enough fucking guts to just step away and admit that he's fucking done. And he's costing the team games and costing these young guys fucking games.
And you're,
in a division they could have easily won.
Reps.
Yeah.
And this is the fucked up thing about the
anybody
Colts,
can go and miss 15 kicks.
This is the year that you guys had house money. Mm-hmm. You were supposed to be like a 3-win team because you lost.
But that's that argument. They made that same argument. We'll get rid of who we're going to go and get. Literally, and you could let Quentin Nelson kick it and when he gets done blocking, and he probably still makes the same percentage.
I will push back on that argument because Harbaugh. That's a
make
question
Brian Hoyer
of
useful
mentality, right?
Yeah.
Vinatieri physically cannot do his job.
Correct.
Right? With coaches,
Correct.
there's no physicalness.
Well,
right?
yeah.
Short of like, wow, that guy's really fat. I'm afraid he could
Some of the
die.
coaches think they're, Jim Schwartz and, they used to like try to puff it up.
Well, I'm just like, as soon
Jack
as,
Del Rio just standing jacked on the sideline all the time.
Andy Reid is still huffing and puffing up and down a sideline.
Tomlin looks like he wants to murder people still.
I would want to murder people if I was Mike Tomlin. I mean, yeah. But this, I don't know. I'm not in the fire. It's weird because we talked about this too. I'm a Steelers fan who's thought we needed to fire Tomlin for a long time.
Right. Under kind of the same argument.
The problem is, he's a good coach. He's well liked. Now we see what he went through with Antonio Brown, and Ben obviously has been a pain in the ass forever. And this year, again, it's we have nothing, and he's doing pretty well. It's like, all right, well, we're probably just going to get the brakes beat off us in the first round of the playoffs, and we score like 18 points a week.
Right.
So you're like, kudos to him.
Right.
Like, I mean, he manned up, and he's doing his job as best he can. But this is Mike Tomlin the guy who will get us back to the precipice? And the Steelers are an organization again. And I think this is the problem, is expectations versus reality. Everything in life, right?
Well,
if you're a depressed person, it's because your expectations are normally off.
Right.
And so, is Tomlin a good coach? Sure. Is he the guy who's just going to have like a good record, get you close to 10 wins a game, and then fucking flub in the playoffs?
Right.
And have bad coordinators and bad offense every year?
Well,
or bad defense. I mean, we've had offense.
They're the team right now that would benefit maybe the most by tanking.
Yeah, for sure.
No, because, Roethlisberger's, he's on his way out. Whether he plays another year or two or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. But they don't, Hodge and Rudolph are not the future.
You don't fly with the Ducks?
So all they're doing right now by winning, they're being 7-5 is just hurting potentially their future. Because they have a decent roster. Their defense is good.
Real good.
They've got some decent keys on offense. But if they just went like 2-14 and got the next best quarterback, they don't have to do a whole lot to shift gears and go right back to winning. If they just get a serviceable quarterback in there.
If we had even a Dak Prescott level quarterback, we would be pretty good.
$40 million. That's what I'm worth.
Here's what we did, right? Cleveland came in and we said, hey, you guys are losers. We'll give you more picks, right? Because Cleveland's like, what do we need more talent. Yeah, right. Are you kidding? If Mike Tomlin was coach of the Browns, we got to talk about this too. This week, again, the ongoing Myles Garrett thing, and I know
saga.
Everyone knows. I'm not going to go into it. He's a criminal. He should go to jail. That's fine, right, guys?
You all know it.
But this week, again, we got even further evidence of the Browns are just such classic textbook, like the DSM-R, right, of mental disorders, right? If being a loser was a verifiable Freudian concept, the Browns would be in that fucking manual. Because not only they came in, Freddie Kitchens, big fat bro, right?
Well, Freddie's just doing everything right this year.
Freddie just looks like he should always have camouflage on and like smell of Natty Light, right? Like he's just a piece of shit looking guy. I hate his guts.
What a guy.
He went to the movie, and this is how big of a loser this guy is. He's wearing a shirt, right, that's popular around Loserland, which is Pittsburgh's starter.
Yeah.
Right? So they said...
I'll tell you, I wish I would have thought of that T-shirt.
I mean, I agree. I wish we were selling it because losers spend money.
I would have put that right up.
Yeah, I don't care if you're a loser. I'll take your money. But the fact that this was a terrible, violent incident that caused suspensions, the league obviously does not want more head trauma bullshit going on.
Yeah.
So the owner of the Browns comes out and wears a Myles Garrett beanie, right? Like a fucking dipshit that she is. And then she's like the owner from Major League. Yeah. Like, well, we were friends in college. Now he's a bit of an alcoholic moron. Like, all right, he can coach the team. He goes to see a movie with his daughters. He's wearing the fucking shirt.
Yeah, good for him.
He's wearing the Pittsburgh started it shirt.
Yeah. Great
This
shirt.
is where he's a pussy, though. This is why Freddie Kitchens is a loser and a pussy. One, his defense is that, I covered it up. It's like, okay, so now you're telling me you knew that you shouldn't have it on.
So you got it and you want to be a tough guy, but you're too much of a fucking coward to actually wear it.
You didn't post it on your Instagram, right? It went on a fan's.
Right.
Secondly, he threw his daughters under the bus. He's like, well, my daughters really wanted me to wear it. All right, cool. What if your daughter's like, hey, can you wear that Borat swimsuit? Would he do it? Would he wear that to Frozen 2?
I fucking hope so.
Freddie Kitchens might.
I would tune in. That'd be the highest rated game.
Yeah.
If he coached in that on the side.
He's such a fucking moron.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're just an idiot because they come in and then they lose to our third string quarterback. And now, I guarantee you in Pittsburgh, someone's saying, Pittsburgh finished it. That's a shirt that will be sold in Pittsburgh now.
Something like that.
Yeah, we finished their season.
Yeah.
You guys are fucking done, and we did it to you. With our third string quarterback,
Yeah.
you guys are fucking losers. And here's the other loser Cleveland argument. Oh, well, a couple players wore free Pouncy shirts. Well, first off, they're players.
Yeah.
They're irresponsible, wild players. That's why you have a coach in an organization, is to keep them in line. Like, are you an idiot? Your coach did
But
this.
free bouncy is...
Seriously, do you think Belichick would wear the,
No.
Cleveland starter? You
No.
think he would ever
And
talk
if anybody
about that
on his
again?
team wore it, they wouldn't be on the team
Yeah,
anymore.
this
Belichick
guy-
would pull the plug on that real quick.
This guy who looks like he just drinks deer urine in case
Yeah.
there's a shooting opportunity
Yeah.
on his way to work. This fucking moron. Oh, Cleveland just being the biggest losers. Baker throwing the interception. Getting mad that people are calling him overweight. Odell Beckham having, no good games this year. Oh, I love it.
Say what you will about Belichick, but he once had a guy that ran for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. The next week he was late to a meeting and he didn't play again the rest of the fucking year.
And his career was just over.
And so if you think somebody's walking out there with one of those shirts on, you're fucking wrong.
But that's what I mean.
And but what do they do that the Browns don't? They fucking win all the
Exactly.
time. You know what I mean?
And this is the problem, because they're just losers by nature. They'll just always be losers until they get new ownership, new coach. That is a culture of being a fucking loser.
It is.
And they just accept being losers,
Yeah.
and they're just... It's this whole Pittsburgh cheated us. They're always looking for a fucking excuse. Baker always wants an excuse. Odell Beckham fucking, he must drink at the tit of victimhood. You know what I mean? They're all such fucking pussies. I hate Cleveland. I love that we defeated them.
Yeah.
But this is the problem, though, right? Because getting back to your point after I lost my mind for a moment, they're going to be rewarded more than the Steelers for losing. They're going to get a better draft pick.
Well, yeah.
We should be getting that draft pick.
Why? You're winning.
But I'm saying it would benefit us, right?
So it's going to benefit them, too.
The league is set up to where it does us better to lose, right?
Correct.
Other than the fact that we don't have to wake up in the morning and be
Right.
like, we're Browns fans, right? Like, imagine the life of that fucking person.
Right.
That's the only benefit to us.
Yeah.
Is that we can say, oh, well, we're winners, but we're going to have a less good chance of getting the piece we need.
Yeah, and seemingly without a quarterback for the future.
Yeah.
You might have one more year out of Roethlisberger, but that's...
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe.
But that's it.
But he's been threatening to leave for 3 seasons. But this is...
Yeah, he's been talking. For almost
We were
half a
talking
decade.
about this with the Pacers and Memphis last time. It's so sad that Ja Morant is going to waste away for 7 years in Memphis.
You never know.
I hate rewarding losers
But
in
Memphis
sports.
has put some good teams together. They might do it again.
Maybe.
They just kind of
And
disbanded.
it's hard because we talked about this last week a little bit, how to fix the NBA. I don't know how you fix the fact that no free agents go to Memphis that are any good.
Well, yeah, but
You
that's
can't
not
fix
that's
that.
not a Memphis. That's a small market thing. That's
Right. I mean, I don't know how you fix these things, but it sucks that losers get rewarded in sports. And it's the only reason. Look at that Cleveland roster. It's fucking... but it's like them and the Cowboys.
Yeah,
There are
which-
3 teams that have so much talent that just fucking shit the bed.
Yeah, which is really bad.
It's annoying.
Because and I'm happy with Juwan Howard, obviously, but when John Boehline was like, "Yeah, I'm going to Cleveland," I was like, "Why?
Yeah, why on
Why
earth?
are you You're only 3 years too late, bub.
I know you don't have social
You
media.
should have went there
probably.
3
Yeah.
years ago. You'd be killing.
You know
it right
LeBron
now.
left. Like, LeBron's gone. LeBron just...
J.R. Smith ain't coming back.
Thank God. Thank God, yeah. No, LeBron was the outlier, right?
Yeah.
He was so good that he brought the title, and then he was like, ew, 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 gross. I can't wait to leave Cleveland again. Right? The fact that the hometown...
Thanks
team
for the
twice
mural.
was like, ew, ew, ew. He had to leave that fucking Sodom and Gomorrah of losers. Gross. Embarrassing. I don't like rewarding losers, but I'm glad that the Browns are down where they belong, as always.
Yeah.
Speaking of losers...
What do we got?
Pro segue. So this popped up on Twitter, and I was sending you Conor McGregor gifts. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
so
yeah.
fucking furious. So Derrick Coleman, I think it was the Derrick Coleman, maybe?
Maybe.
Probably not. But
I didn't dig that deep. I
think he
looked at
calls
the-
himself Derrick the Legend 44 on Twitter or whatever. He came up with a little image, and you guys can find it. It's called the Apology to Carmelo Anthony. I almost lost my
It
mind
was like-
immediately. And I saved the picture here, right? So...
Reasons you said Carmelo's career was done or whatever.
So it's to Carmelo from, and then you put your name
Yeah.
and date, and then reasons for your behavior. And there are 6 of them. The media convinced me he was done. I didn't watch the games. I only looked at advanced analytics. I don't know basketball. I was jealous of Carmelo.
I don't know basketball.
And then number 6, Mercury was in retrograde. That's just bad comedy, right?
Yeah.
First off. And then the bottom box, you're supposed to check and say, I will hereby respect Carmelo Anthony and will not talk down to the future first ballot Hall of Famer. There are so many things about this that are stupid.
Yeah, but funny, though.
It's perfect for Twitter because it's someone making a bold declaration that then you can be, wow, that is 100 kinds of stupid.
Yeah.
And then you go on the Twitter comments, though, and it's just people like, yeah, say it for the people in the back.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, first off, Carmelo's played 6 games since he's been back. They're 3-3.
Yeah.
Right? And then he just won the Player of the Week.
Yeah.
What do you think of Carmelo winning Player of the Week?
James Harden scored more in one game than Carmelo did all week.
Yeah. In a world where LeBron, Luka, Harden, Anthony Davis.
Carmelo comes in and hucks up 38% field goal percentage, scores 20 points a couple of times. And
Off the bench.
They're like, whoa. Whoa, Player of the Week right there.
Whoa. No one wants to take it.
It's like a couple weeks ago they gave Vinatieri the fucking special teams Player of the Week, and it was like, yeah, he made his extra points. Good for him.
Yeah, good job. Really, very special. No, Carmelo played the Bulls twice.
Yeah.
The Bulls.
They're bad.
They're real bad.
Yeah.
This is so fucking stupid. First off, the guy outs himself immediately as a rube because of his shot against advanced analytics. Because here, the argument that I hate the most about this is it's trying to rewrite history. Right. I agree with this guy that Carmelo can be on a team and be a productive scorer.
Sure.
Plus minus by the end of the season. Let's make a wager. If I had to wager that if I win, you fuck my wife, and if you win, you fuck. Well, we're fucking each other's wives, whoever wins, right? This is the wager I'd make with this guy. At the end of the season, do you think Carmelo will have a really good PER, plus minus, defensive numbers? No, of course you don't. You don't fucking think that. So, do you know fucking basketball? In a league where they can constantly switch and pick and roll and switch off onto Carmelo and make him guard people, is Carmelo really that good because he can score 17 points a game at this stage?
The most baffling thing for me was one of the games I looked at, he had 4 assists. Which I'm fairly certain that doubled his career high.
You think he was actually just shooting and missed and someone dunked it?
Oh, that was an alley-oop.
Oop, dog! Oop! Yeah, oop!
I had to double check it. I was like, surely they're going to go through that game tape and see that those, there's no way he got 4. That motherfucker hasn't had 4 cumulatively in the last 6 years combined.
No, it's insane because one, to talk shit on advanced analytics at this stage of the game is just stupid.
Yeah.
Right? Basketball has shifted. The game has changed away from what Carmelo's best at.
Yeah.
And Carmelo can shoot the 3, it seems, but he shoots 35%. Yeah. For a shooter of that caliber, not amazing.
It's not bad, though.
You'd
not
want him
bad.
to be like closer to 40 with his skill set, but fine. This is the problem. Carmelo can be a guy who scores 20 points a game in the NBA still.
All day, yep.
Right?
A lot of people can.
Here are the problems that this apology letter denies. First off, it's 6 fucking games.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Get at me when we're at 50.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's trying to tell me that Carmelo was somehow unfairly out of the league. Carmelo was out of the league because of his own fucking behavior.
Correct.
Right? I'm guessing a lot of the people that want Carmelo to be in the league also didn't want Kaepernick to be in the league.
Well,
so there's a weird Venn diagram there.
He's out of the league because he's not a starter anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams are like, hey, we'll bring you in off the bench. And he was like, no, I'm a starter. And they were like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
You're not.
Yeah, you're not.
And he refused to take a backup role.
No.
Until he didn't get a fucking job for, half a year. And now he's like, I'll do it, like pretending to be the martyr. Like, I'll come off the bench. Like, well.
But yeah, I mean, this is the problem. Like, how long until he has
stop getting those game checks and you're like, wait a minute, maybe I will fucking.
Yeah. Well, now I want to be back so people look at my Instagram again.
I'm a good team player. Like, you're not.
How long until he sours the lock? Because this is what happened in OKC, right? Mm-hmm. He couldn't get along.
Yep.
It was a sour relationship. They gave him to Houston, which should have been his all-time dream destination.
We're talking about that earlier. Like, if anywhere he could have gone and succeeded at any role, backup, starter, otherwise, it's Houston.
Yeah.
Where their whole offense is just shoot it as quick as you can.
Yeah.
All the time.
But not even, because D'Antoni used to be 7 seconds or less, right? But then with James Harden, he's like, It's totally
Like,
cool
that
that
is-
you just dribble out for 16
That is
seconds.
100% molded to
That's
Anthony.
Carmelo.
Yeah, it's Anthony's game to a T. It's exactly what he does.
Can you be James Harden light, where
Yeah.
he takes a breather, you go in and do the exact same thing, where you just touch the ball, don't pass it, and shoot.
And Mike D'Antoni is like the same as Carmelo Anthony. He's always pretty good, but never really wins.
Yeah.
you know what
exactly.
I mean? Like they're the mirror image of each other.
And this is the final argument I would make on this that makes this guy laughable is Houston, the city that has most embraced analytics, right? Them, Golden State, a couple teams. Houston was kind of the hotbed of a lot of this early.
Yeah.
They cut Carmelo, right? Because he could not fit.
Yeah.
Do you think that Houston has made a lot of really bad personnel choices? Also, let's check the record.
Yeah.
Who's better, Portland or Houston?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. They're better without Carmelo.
I agree.
I don't understand. And this is the problem. We talked about this with Vinatieri. Two things can be true. A guy can be a first ballot Hall of Famer who had a lot of talent and not be as good as he was anymore.
Yeah.
It happens when you age.
That's part of it. Some guys age more gracefully than others.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
And Carmelo, a lot of it is the
I couldn't even run up and down the court right now.
No, God, no.
Not one time.
Yeah, and I'm younger than Carmelo, I think.
I don't know. I'm about the same age. I
Yeah,
think.
maybe the same. I'm way fatter.
Yeah. Oh, way fatter. Me
But
too.
I hate this. I hate when guys find this example and they're like, this will be my hill to die on where I can say analytics are stupid.
After 3 games, they're like, yep, you owe Carmelo an apology because he's
What's
back
so-
to. They're talking about he might be an all-star. Like, no, well, okay.
I mean, maybe
That's
because
fun.
it's fan voting.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I didn't see this apology come out after the first 3 games where they definitely lost to Cleveland.
And he looked like shit. Yeah.
I watched the first game back. It was horrendous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand how there are still people fighting the analytics wave. In every sport, it's just you can't fight it anymore. Because what it is it's a weapon, right? Should you make every single decision based on a calculator? No.
Right.
But to sit here and say
That's where
throw
I'm at with
analytics out
Yeah.
is fucking baffling.
That's ludicrous. I think some of
It's
them
baffling.
are too advanced. But there definitely are some useful stats that make sense. That that tell the story of what's happening.
It would be like if you were playing poker and you're like, I think it'd be better for me if I didn't know what the percentage of me winning a hand after the flop is when I have an 8-6 offsuit.
Right. Well, it's
You know what I mean? Like, I'll just go all in because I feel it.
I gamble. Put it this way, I gamble.
Right.
The people that win at gambling
Yeah.
are the ones that dig deep into the stats.
High information.
High information. The people that go, hey, put 50 on the Nuggets tonight. I got a hunch. I got a hunch. Those are the guys that fucking lose consistently. It's the high information guys.
Ooh, I like those throwback
Dig into
jerseys.
the stats that
100K.
fucking win. It's the same thing. There's value in the stats, and it paints somewhat of a picture.
There's an insane value in stats.
There is something to be said about an eye test and watching a guy, but you can't just throw the stats to the wind and be like,
Right.
I know a good one when I see one.
Right.
Like,
Well, this is the problem with
All right.
like politics.
Okay, boomer.
Right? Okay, boomer. Well, no, because in politics, right? It's like someone's like, well, I don't think everyone should get access to healthcare because, my personal situation. You're like, all right, don't use your personal small pool of information and extrapolate that out to a massive set of data, right?
Right.
That's bad information. That's not how you use numbers.
We didn't have advanced stats when I played.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that's why you got cut out of high school.
Yeah. But the problems is that one, Carmelo defensively is an enormous liability.
Sure.
And a lot of why he got cut, for those guys who hate data, a lot of the reasons he got cut was non-data driven.
Well, yeah.
He was not fitting in with the team and causing trouble.
True.
Not giving full effort. Right? That's eye test shit. That's stuff he can control, and he just wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So he failed on an analytic and fucking eye test level. I don't know. I saved this picture. I saved that guy's twit. I can't fucking wait.
I'm going to fill one out.
Yeah.
I'm going to fill one out and send it back.
I'm just going to take a picture of my butthole and send it back to him. And be like, that's why I sent you the Conor McGregor thing. I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely no one.
Absolutely fucking nobody.
The double champ does what the fuck he wants.
Go buy my shitty whiskey.
By the way, I'm super stoked. Conor McGregor's coming back.
He said he wants to do 3 fights.
3 fights next year.
Yeah, I saw that.
And all of them are just straight up like money fights that are brawls. He's not doing I'm going to go back and try to out wrestle Khabib.
Well, Floyd said he's coming back this year too.
I bet.
So if we're gonna have part 2,
No, it's crazy because Masvidal, who won the BMF belt, he's like, I want to fight Canelo. And it's like, no more boxers going into MMA. He's like, look at me punch the little speed bag. You're like, yeah, that's the same.
Right.
That's the same thing as like Canelo's on this like historic run. But I like the fact that he's back. I like the personality.
UFC's got to love it because right now
man.
they need a little bit of a boost. I mean, they do.
That's coming in January, and I think it would be a perfect live stream.
Yeah, they don't.
I would love to live stream that entire UFC.
I'd be down.
I might get loosed on that one though. I love watch. I get amped up for Connor.
The UFC's in a spot right now. Like they need a boost. They need a ratings boost because they've flatlined a little bit. They've had some good fights, no doubt about it. But they haven't had that big shining star, that
Who's
name.
the guy?
That big draw. You know what I mean?
Who's the fucking guy?
They've had some good fights, no doubt about it.
Sure. But who are you going to be like, yeah, I'll pay $60. And not even $60. Now you have to get a fucking subscription to ESPN Plus before I can even order.
They don't have the poster guy. They don't have a guy to put on a poster and sell 1 million fucking pay-per-views.
Whatever Connor is, he's electric. I turn on the TV and I don't want to stop watching. Yeah. I'm super fucking stoked he's back, man. Although my fear is he's going to come back and get fucking whooped. And then that'll be it.
I hope
he's catching some cases over there too, man. Some bad stuff.
He's all over.
No, not punching old men like Antonio Brown stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's probably why he's like, I got to go back to America.
I think it's like 3 ladies have done it. He's like, don't extradite me. Dana White, give me some cover.
Can we have the fights in Venezuela? They don't have extradition.
Hey, Khabib, can I come live in Russia with you? Yeah, man. I don't know. Exciting. You want to end on some Patriots talk?
Sure.
Are you ready to fucking bury the Patriots dynasty after they got their fucking brakes beat off by the Texans?
No. Because I have been ready for like 5 years whenever this happens. And then they turn around and go to the fucking Super Bowl again.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be the ass this year.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're done.
Hey,
they're 10-2.
Yep.
They haven't beat a whole lot of good teams.
It's fucking crazy that you can be 10-2 and your fan base is like upset.
Yeah, they're 10-2. And Jim O'Brien is from the Belichick coaching tree.
Yeah.
Who historically Belichick has not had a good run against. And when he plays his old coaches, he fucking loses a lot.
Yeah.
I don't read a lot into it. The Texans aren't that good. It was matchup shit. It was matchup shit. The Patriots will come out, whoever they play next. I don't know who they play next week. They'll win by 40, and then everyone will be like, "Oh, I guess they're back."
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Tom's back.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was watching a lot.
Tom Brady had like
People
one of the worst
were
games of his
murdering Tom
career.
Brady. But
Yeah,
it
happens.
I think you have to change the parameters, right?
I hate the Patriots, so like
I think I'm willing to say this last couple runs, right? It looks like Drew Brees last year to me, where you're like, "Fuck, he's an MVP."
Yeah,
and then by the end of the season, you're like, wow, he's not holding up and can't throw.
right?
Like by that playoff game, he was not the Drew Brees we saw the first half.
Right.
I think I'm willing to say, man, they've got maybe 1 or 2 more seasons of this. Like Tom Brady is not.
He's over
that
40.
guy
He's what,
anymore.
42 now?
Yeah.
I mean, he's still good.
I think he's the GOAT. I'm down. And also this.
And Belichick's still a good coach.
Are we willing to bury the Patriots? Period. Peyton Manning's last Super Bowl, that season, I think he threw 9 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. They won.
Right.
Because in the big game, he at least had enough poise to like stand there and not completely fuck it up as much as he tried.
Right.
And, Patriots have a really good D. So do I think the Tom Brady era is over? I would say by next season, he will no longer be a valid, like he's going to be the guy that gets us there. I'm not willing to say the Patriots are done
until Belichick leaves. That's when I'll say the Patriots dynasty's over.
If they had kept Garoppolo, I think they just keep going.
I don't think it matters that much. I'm not saying Tom Brady's bad. I'm not.
Here we go.
I'm not.
Here we go.
I'm saying no. I'm saying had it been some other quarterback that happened to be the backup when Bledsoe went down, I think we'd still be seeing similar results.
You think if Trent Dilfer had been there,
somewhere around the same age as Brady, like if it had been like that,
no way.
I think so.
You always love to take away from Brady's
greatness.
greatness.
Belichick is that guy, and I think whoever they plug in next, as long as Belichick's there, I think they'll win. As long as Bob Kraft is there, who has the NFL by the nuts, they're going to get every call.
And Bob's happy lately.
Yeah.
Bob's getting happy.
He's getting hand jobs.
No, my theory is I would hate to be playing the Patriots the season after Brady leaves. Because I think Belichick is going to go to a demonically possessed level of focus, where he's like, all he'll want to do.
I'm the absolute power. I have absolute power.
Oh, I mean, God, I wouldn't be surprised if he's like phoning it in now.
100% a lizard person.
Oh, yeah. If there was a guy, he's the guy, right? But Belichick is going to want to win so fucking bad, without
just
Brady.
To say it was
then that
him.
just cements it.
Then he can say it was him all along, and not anybody else.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think guys like that, I would hate to be the next group of Patriots.
I think
because they're going to get driven to madness in perfection.
I think Belichick would have retired like 6 years ago, but Brady keeps coming back, and he's like, God damn it,
Tom,
Tom, just quit so I can win one without you.
He's like, I want to start my line of hoodies. Like, I want to get in the fashion game.
Cut off sleeve hoodies, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you can say the Patriots are out. I don't know that I would say they're like a big favorite this year.
Yeah.
But this gets back to kind of the theme of today's show, which is they've played, how many years has Tom Brady been in the league?
Since
18,
2000, I think. So
they've won
19
6
years.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 13 years they didn't win.
Yeah.
But they're perennial contenders, right? So that's still a dynasty.
Yeah.
And I think if he leaves...
Oh, it's absolutely a dynasty.
They'll find someone who will fit in, and Belichick is going to go next level.
It's like the Spurs, they won 5 championships over, 15 years, but with largely the same team.
Yeah.
Still a dynasty. They didn't run three in a row together.
And it's impressive to lose and come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's extra cool. I don't...
Very similar, yeah.
People burying the Patriots, I would be fucking careful.
I've been on that fucking bus before. And
I was going to give you some rope and see if you're ready to
and that bus just fucking crashes right into a wall, and then you look up and you're like, yeah, the Patriots are dead, and then they're fucking coming back from 28-3 against the Falcons in the Super Bowl. And,
True.
And then my hate for them just runs deeper and deeper.
So mad. You're still mad.
Deeper and deeper.
You want to talk about The Irishman before we go?
Sure.
All right, this was a big one, right? Netflix, Scorsese, The Irishman.
3.5 hours, baby.
What did you think?
I liked it. I don't get all the beef around the technology they used when they made De Niro and them look younger, and then they made him look older at the end of the movie. I thought it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's cool technology.
I'm all for technology. I told you this. I thought De Niro was hard to look at.
See,
I was physically repulsed. To me, he looked like he should have been on RuPaul's Drag Race.
See, I thought he looked just like 90s fucking De Niro.
With the fucking dog eyes and the weird, like, blank face, like he was a Pixar character. He looked like he was getting ready to perform Hedwig in The Angry Inch.
I disagree.
It really bothered me. I hated watching De Niro just walk around. It's so weird, too, because it's such a great performance. But, like, I'd be sitting there watching him, and De Niro's one of those great still moment actors.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where real acting happens, is reaction and listening.
Sure.
And I just was watching, I'm like, man, this guy's good.
Yeah.
But, God, why did they have to do the blue eyes? I've never heard of The Irishman. I don't know who the fuck that guy is. It reminded me of when Thor 1 came out, and they're like, Hemsworth, you really need to dye your eyebrows bleach blonde.
Yeah.
And then in the next one, he's like, well, that looked weird. Let's not. It's just a weird choice. Like, why make De Niro look so weird? What'd you think of the runtime?
Well, here's the thing. You and I talked about this a little the other day. Is like that big thing online is like, I don't know why people can't sit for 3.5 hours a movie. I watched it 4 times in one day. Like, that's great. Good for you.
Yeah.
Runtime does not make a movie good.
Or bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
That's irrelevant. Just because it went 3.5 hours, you can't be like, oh, it must be great.
Yeah.
I happen to like this one. I thought it was really good. And most of Scorsese's movies tend to run long anyway.
Yeah. He's the Judd Apatow.
About 2.5 hours at least on most of his fucking movies. I felt like it could have been cut down a little bit. I'm not as extreme as you. You said like an hour and a half.
Well, this is as a guy who runs a movie.
I could cut an hour out of it.
Fucking easy. Easily cut an hour out. Jesus Christ. No, the problem is, and this is the thing, I've been on this crusade for years, right? My theory is someday I'm just going to run a vlog where all I do is tell you what scenes to cut out of movies so that every movie's 90 minutes. Right? Because I believe, like Orson Welles said, right? He's like, limitations is where the real creativity happens.
Sure.
I heard someone say this. They're like, can you imagine if The Irishman comes to DVDs? Like, could they even have a deleted scene?
Right.
Like, what didn't make it? We spent probably 30 minutes of that movie just watching old people drive and not talk and take naps. That's too much. I didn't need to see people traveling that much. De Niro drives a truck for like 5 minutes. I don't need any of that.
Here's the thing.
Get to the stuff that matters.
I could take an hour out of it.
Yeah,
but I'm also not going to be the guy that tells Scorsese how to make a movie. A guy who gets nominated, you know what I mean? Like, you got a reason for me.
That goes without
I'm
saying.
not going to be fucking Ebert.
That's ridiculous.
Who watches?
You can't be that guy now.
Ebert watched Christmas Vacation, Home Alone. Was like, yeah, hugely forgettable. Nobody will ever remember him. Trash.
That's fine.
2 immortal movies. You know,
You
I'm like,
are also
I'm
the
not gonna be that guy
who just said John Harbaugh can't coach and he never coached.
No, Jim Harbaugh. John Harbaugh can coach his
Oh yeah,
ass off.
that's right. You have the wrong Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh's a great
That's what I
coach.
mean. You can't be the guy who does that then won't take a shot at movies. Fuck these guys. That's the whole point of movies is for us to talk shit.
But you know what that was? Cinema.
Cinema.
That was cinema.
I will say this. It was better than almost every Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So the Marvel guys, sorry dude, you lost.
Shots fired.
The problem is, this is the weird thing about the movie is it felt like it wanted to be 2 different movies.
Well,
and I
yeah.
don't feel like they bonded
Well,
very
they unwrapped more than I think they needed to in that story. I think that comes from the book, though.
Yeah.
I think that, and
that's the weird thing too.
Yeah.
The whole book is just proven false, like over and over and over
well,
again.
It's speculation. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know why this story...
Sheeran, which is De Niro's character, is a guy that claimed that he did it.
Yeah.
But they've actually been to that house and they've sampled that blood that was on the wall and it didn't match.
Yeah.
Hoffa or whatever. So like Sheeran probably killed somebody in that house, but it wasn't
Sheeran. Not an analytics.
It wasn't Jimmy Hoffa. But nonetheless, though, like it was still kind of cool to at least see a story that, like go down that fantasy road. I'm fine with that. I don't care about the semantics of because nobody knows who fucking killed Jimmy Hoffa.
The problem is that
but they tied in
character is so boring in the movie. He's a character who has no arc and no emotion, right? The setup of this movie is here's a guy who was just near historic events, but just sits there and kind of stares blankly and goes, "Oh, yeah, I'll do it. All right, hey, I'll do it. Hey."
But he's the guy that killed Hoffa. Like that's his arc.
Right.
He's
already killed people.
Right.
Right.
But he killed Hoffa.
Yeah, I know. He killed Hoffa. I watched the movie.
It's a large figure. He didn't just like sneak in and kill some family in their sleep. He killed Jimmy Hoffa. Well, that's
I
his
understand.
claim.
John Wick kills people and he's interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Right? This character
but he definitely has an arc, though.
What I would have liked to see the movie do, and I think this is how you cut out all the extra time, I don't want to see him go, like, punch a grocer out. I don't care that his daughter thinks he's a piece of shit, and then at the end of his life, he's sad and alone.
Yeah.
Because he's a bad fucking human being.
Well,
like, I don't feel sympathy
he's a contract
for him.
killer, yeah.
At all. Right? And so,
but
De Niro kind of lurks in the background, like this looming specter of death, and just watches great men do things.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of movie. The movie wanted me to sit there and watch De Niro drive people around quietly, and it's asking me, the audience member, to say, what do you think's happening in that guy's head?
Well, yeah.
Literally nothing. I think he's just imagining, like, pastrami sandwiches.
It's that thing is, like, they told the story. So, like, when stand-up comedy is a good example.
Right.
So whenever I'd be, like, going on the road with these guys that are pros, and, like, they'd be helping me with my material or, like, go over jokes, like, they would always... The one thing that all of them said in common was trim the fat.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, if there's less words you can use to do this, use it.
Yeah.
Or do it that way.
Yeah.
And if that kills 3 minutes of it, then you've got to come up with 3 more minutes of material. But that joke will be more powerful.
Yes.
And I feel like it's the same way in storytelling.
Writing.
Yeah.
Everything.
And that was the consensus. Like, I got that piece of advice from literally everybody.
Right.
They would have different things to say about other things. But that was always the consistent one. And like this story, I'll give you to agree with you a little bit on that is they told the story, which was it's an interesting story,
right?
And you probably had to get to the Kennedy stuff,
yeah.
You probably had to get to at least a little bit of that jail scene because it set up the part with the other character. Get that, but it was like they told the story that it's like a guy telling it, and he's like starts going, and it's like okay, this is gonna be a 5-minute story, and then he's like, so then they went to this picnic and. They had like peanut butter sandwiches and he's describing all the shit. And by the end of it, you're like, why did you tell me about the peanut butter sandwiches? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why did I hang on to that? Like, you could have told me that in 5 minutes.
Well,
instead you told me at the exact time everybody took a bite of their sandwich and Yeah, I'll give you that.
It's like this, like, right, where they're like, oh, De Niro killed a lot of people, right? They do the montage of him dropping guns off the bridge. All right, I don't need to see him commit another crime for the rest of the movie. I get it.
Right.
Like, your crimes are not interesting for essentially the rest of the movie, right? Like, when you throw 5 guns off, I'm sitting there as an audience member. It's like Jaws, right? I'm not seeing it, so you're like, wow, imagine those crimes. Like, him walking in the deli and killing that guy. Great scene.
Yeah, it was.
Cut to throwing it out. All right. And now I get it. I don't need to see him beat up a grocer.
Well, yeah, that's the point I'm making. Like, that scene was cool. The scene where he beat up the grocer. There's a lot of... all the scenes were, for the most part, cool. The driving stuff was a little boring, but not all of them were necessary.
Almost,
it can still be. It can be a good scene and still not be necessary.
That's the difference. Is almost none of the scenes in this movie were necessary. Like, if you're doing like a what needs to be in this movie, I
feel like Tarantino does it a
less than
lot.
40.
Same thing. Like I feel like
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in this movie are like bedmates.
Pretty
where
similar.
it feels like guys saying like, "Hey, I just want to write a love letter to what I used to do."
Yeah, I'm not cutting anything out.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I told you I love this movie because it's so Scorsese, right?
Yeah.
Like, he has these small scenes where people are just sitting around,
right?
And he's really good at the small moment, and the way he captures authenticity,
absolutely,
of how people talk and interact,
absolutely
is fucking
brilliant,
amazing, and I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. But yeah, just like
he's
I hate it's like the okay boomer, where it's like old people just like, how can you not want to watch this for 3 and a half? It's like, why have a 2-year-old, dude?
Yeah,
it's hard to get him to like leave me alone for 1 hour. You know, like it's just not being realistic, right?
Worth
it's like the
watch.
same people like, you have to see everything in the cinema. It's like, well, I don't want to watch some like 300-pound lady like on Craigslist during that climax of the movie. Like, that makes me mad.
Yeah.
It's like, just I think it's one of those. It's good.
Yeah.
I think I would never watch it again, right? Like, I might watch
probably
a scene
watch
or
it
two
again,
on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's like, would you? Because I've heard people say this could win the Oscar. It's a like swan. I was like, if this movie or Casino's on TV, what are you watching?
Oh, Casino all day.
If this movie or Goodfellas on, what are you watching?
Goodfellas.
Departed.
Yeah, Departed.
Mean Streets.
Yeah.
Like any of his other
I'd
movies.
probably watch this over Mean Streets. Mean Streets is cool, but
way. I like the punk rockness of Mean Streets.
But I think Pesci will get nominated. I think Pesci has a legit chance to win. Like a supporting actor, he was great. I
loved all the actors.
It's not a Best Picture, I don't think.
I thought all.
I don't know what's going to beat it this year, but it's
I've seen really good movies this year that are doing just really great stuff.
Yeah,
and this one just felt like it was just fun to like spend time with Joe Pesci again.
Yeah,
I like seeing all those guys on screen together.
Yeah, well, that's how I feel with Scorsese movies.
I like a Scorsese world.
I like jumping into Scorsese's worlds.
I'm with you on
even
that.
when they're not the greatest. Like, I still love it.
I'm with you on that. I just wish
he's good
people,
at it. Yeah.
Because we're in this movie era now where people have to be all or nothing.
Yeah.
Can we just say that this movie was like a C?
Yeah, it was fun.
It's a C movie.
I'd call it a B,
like,
but
Martin Scorsese can make any movie, and it's better than 80% of all movies that come out. That's fine, right? Like, he's kind of like a Carmelo. It's like he can still get the basic buckets.
Do not compare him to Carmelo. He is Michael Jordan.
No. No. He's the worm. And
the
Carmelo.
Worm.
Martin Scorsese's the Carmelo Anthony of
I'm
cinema.
not even going to let you finish. That's it for this week. Fuck you for that comparison. Thanks for watching the pod, guys. We'll be back next week. Bye. Bye. Carmelo. Dickhead.
The Carmelo.